God, she owns it. So many heartbreaks, goes back to 2014, and I think that she knows it. And if you've seen her, I know that you would believe it, 'cause I know that you'd want her to. Yeah, I do. Everyone's taking their shot, but missing out on the cut. I think she knows that she just...
February 2020. Seems like such a long time ago, a time when the world was just nearing the lockdown that changed all our lives, and a time that most of us wish we could go back to. But back then, in the midst of all the chaos, Samsung unveiled the first Galaxy Z Flip, the first vertically folding phone that would later become the most popular foldable ever made. It was something unique and exciting with the nostalgia of flip phones many of us grew up with, but as expected, this first gen product came with its handful of issues, not to mention its high price tag as well. Well, fast forward to the present, and 3 generations of the Fold later, we finally have what seems like flagship quality in a folding phone and at an accessible cost as well. And I've got to say, using this phone has brought back a thrill of trying new tech that I haven't felt in a very long time. Like when I use the silky smooth matte glass panels on the back when I use the screen, held up by a perfectly refined hinge that holds the phone at almost every angle, or when I snap my phone closed hanging up on yet another scam call, or how I can just check my notifications on a tiny front display without being distracted by the rest of the phone, but more on that later. Flipping the phone open, you're greeted with slimmer, perfectly symmetrical raised bezels surrounding a glass screen, and at first, the crease does look very apparent, but just like the notch, hole punch, or any other cutout on any phone, you quickly end up forgetting about it. Even when you are actually using the phone, most people end up only touching the bottom half of the screen, and thankfully, the screen itself this year actually feels like hard glass rather than the soft, plasticky feel from the earlier generations. On the flip side, this phone also has the same biometric unlock methods as the first generation, and honestly, that is a good thing. The physical fingerprint scanner on the power button is still much more reliable and faster than in-display scanners, and you'll also have the option of using Face Unlock. And as you can tell, I've really been loving using this phone so far because of just how much fun it is to use. And to add even more to the fun factor of this phone, Samsung actually lets you customize the phone with a lot of really fun colors. You get your standard 4 colors of boar purple, graphite, pink gold, and the one I have, blue, but the real fun comes when you order the bespoke edition where you get to customize the individual colors of the top panel, the bottom panel, and the frame to your heart's content. And if that's not fun enough, you'll definitely want to learn more about the sponsor of this video, CASETiFY. Yo, Gangster Fenton has arrived in town, here to tell you more about the awesome cases from CASETiFY. These cases will take your personalization to the next flippin' level. Whether you like colorful clear cases, having your name engraved, printed designs, or even a mix of both, you'll definitely find a case that'll put all your friends' boring cases to shame. And with their innovative EcoShock protection, you no longer need to worry about dropping your Z Flip from up to 5 feet even while it's opened up. And best of all, these cases all maintain a slim profile, so you no longer need to choose between feel and protection. And all this plus knowing you've done as little harm to the environment as possible, with cases being made from 65% recycled and plant-based materials, the Defensify antimicrobial coating that eliminates 99% of bacteria growth, and packages made from 100% compostable packaging. And if that's not enough for you, you can also get 15% off any of these awesome cases by using my link down in the description below. Alright, back to you, Fenton. While the screen looks really cool, it's just as much as a treat to use. The super tall screen gives you so much space for anything from scrolling Twitter to making Instagram stories, which I can finally do without having anything cut off. And just like you subscribing to my channel, folding this phone up at my desk just brings me so much joy. Reading articles like this almost feels like I'm living in the future, if not for the color shifting on the screen. And also, during the event, Samsung did make a pretty big deal about the split view functionality you get, but in reality, the only times I found myself using it was for making Instagram stories, watching YouTube videos and reading the comments, and the gallery and the camera app. Other than that, using the bottom half of the screen as a trackpad and controls is as much of a gimmick as it looks. But the benefit of this screen is twofold. While it is a joy to use when it's flipped open, I actually found myself using my phone less, and that's actually a good thing. Since the Z Flip is still pretty hard to open one-handed, you'll need to perform some serious finger gymnastics for that. I've actually become much more intentional with using my phone. No more having a random notification or just trying to check the time lead to hours and hours of doom scrolling, which as a student is honestly a lifesaver. When it comes to actually using the flip though, Samsung has included a bunch of multitasking features like picture-in-picture mode, edge panels, and of course split screen. A lot of people do find this feature useful, but personally, I only really use it when I need to have the calculator open, so your mileage may vary. And just like with One UI, where most people lay on either one side of the crease or the other, that was a horrible pun, but if you're just like me and prefer more of the stock Android look, you can easily customize your phone with Nova Launcher while taking setup inspirations from the Palette app by the one and only Sam Beckman. But an app you need regardless of your relationship with One UI is Good Lock from the Galaxy Store, which gives you so much more customization for the phone itself. But here's where we start to see the wrinkles of the phone. To make this a flagship level phone that can flip at an accessible price, Samsung needed to cut the cost somewhere, and unfortunately, that was in the cameras. We are still getting the older 12 megapixel sensors on both the wide and the ultra wide, and while it is an improvement compared to last year, it would have been amazing if they carried over the same camera ecosystem from the S22. That's not to say that you can't take good photos with it though. Pictures coming out of these are classic Samsung with vibrant colors and punchy contrast, which is great for posting on social media. And like most smartphone cameras these days, the HDR gives you both details in the dark areas and prevents the brighter areas from being clipped. But zooming in is when the photos start to crimp. Both these sensors lack detail, have quite a bit of shutter lag, and the videos coming out of it are very noisy, although the stabilization works pretty well. The quality is just not that great overall. But hey, at least you'll look cool using the phone like a camcorder. Here's where it gets interesting though. While these cameras aren't the world's greatest back cameras, flipping them over will give you one of the best selfie cameras. All you need to do is double click the power button and boom. Now everyone will be able to see your crinkles of disappointment snap into a look of amazement, but it'll quickly turn back into a frown since you have to remember that the vertical screen means you're taking a horizontal picture and the horizontal screen means that you're taking a vertical picture, which doesn't really make that much sense since you can only see the center part of the frame, but anyways, you will get used to it. Opening up your palm also starts a 1-second timer, which would be very useful if it worked more often, so hopefully they can fix that in the future. But an amazing feature that you get from having a flip phone is that you don't need to bring a tripod around anymore. You can now just prop up the phone and take pictures, make Instagram stories, or record all the TikToks you desire. Until, of course, you run out of battery, which will inevitably happen since the battery life on the Z Flip 4 is still disappointing to say the least. Using this phone regularly with 4G and Wi-Fi gives me 4 hours at most, and that's without using the camera heavily or playing any games. It seems to be ruffled between people though, so if you've had a different experience, make sure to let us know in the comments. But for me, I've had to bring the power bank with me everywhere I go, which makes me wanna flip off the phone, if you know what I mean. But honestly, folding it all together, this phone has been an absolute joy to use. Despite the battery issues I faced, these past months with the phone have actually been really fun, and honestly, with the price being pretty accessible this year, I can see a lot more people using and loving this phone. And if you can get over the battery life and want a phone that wows your friends, then you should definitely consider giving the Z Flip 4 a try. Or if you're on the other side of the fold, sorry, last one I promise, and don't like the attention that much, then consider subscribing because I've got a bunch more content lined up that you definitely don't want to miss. And that's it for this review, everyone. If you still have any core questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section down below. And if all my fold puns really bent your humor the right way, make sure to smash the like and subscribe button as well. Alright, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.